What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Bitcoin sitting at support, that 50% level, that key level that we have been going on about. It's also got a decent bounce off the 50-week EMA, which we're going to talk about today. But if we have a look at it now, it is looking quite scary. We are stuck below the important EMAs, the 50 and the 200 EMA. We are stuck below those levels. We are stuck below this previous support, which is now resistance and is the level to clear. So right now, if we just zoom out, when in doubt, zoom out, we are above the 50% level. That 50% level is coming in at 79,500. Now that is the 50% level from the August low at 49K all the way to 110K, which is the all-time high. And that 50% level comes in at 49,500. Now that is a very significant level because Bitcoin is strong above that zone and weak below it. So if we can just continue to close in this area here, whilst there's a lot of fear in the market, I do see a potential bottom forming. We do have bullish divergence over here. We have a lower low and a higher low on the RSI on the daily time frame. But we could see a third drive. What would a third drive look like? Well, if we come up again, get rejected by the 200-day EMA and come into this big green box, which is a massive buy box. We're going to talk about that now. Whilst the RSI also gives us another higher low, that will be 3 drives of bullish divergence, and that will be giving me a lot of confidence that the low may be in for Bitcoin. But for now, this big green box, so I've got the top of the box. That was the March highs of last year. This was about a year ago, these March highs. So that is the top of the box. If we come into that, I do see a big bounce off the zone. That's coming in at about 74K. And then this was the Trump low. This was the low just for Donald Trump won the election. I think that's very significant because I think a lot of people max longed and aped into Bitcoin trades. And obviously, they've got a potential free run up. And they would have their stop loss in this area here. So those stops could definitely be hunted. So this is my buy zone. I haven't bought crypto at all. I've taken some trades since, this period over here. September, October last year. I haven't bought any crypto since. I have kind of round tripped my whole portfolio, which, I'm sure everyone's in the same boat, but it is what it is. It is crypto at the end of the day, and you should never be playing around with more than you can afford to lose. But this is my perfect buy zone. This is where I think, this is where I would be willing to put in more capital over here. I think this will be a significant low for sure. And this is the level where I will be accumulating more Bitcoin. But as long as, if we have to just take it one step at a time, one level at a time, the level to get below would first be 79,500. If we get multiple closes below there, then I think we can see this lower level. But for now, we do have bullish divergence. It's 2 drives of bullish divergence, of course, and it is looking good. And I think we could come up and test these higher levels, of course, before moving lower if we do move lower. But the level to get above, this has been the level to get above for a while now. So I've been waiting for a daily breakout of this downsloping resistance, and we still haven't broken out above it. So I've been taking some longs over here, which, the majority of them got stopped out, but we don't mind because we don't risk more than 1% of the trading account. And if we can enter a Bitcoin long at a lower position, that is actually a win, right? There's much more upside potential. I do still think that we are going to see that 120K level. I think there are a lot of people who have shorts, and those will eventually get liquidated. But one step at a time. Ethereum looking a bit scary. I have just taken a little bit of a Ethereum long over here. I'll show you guys on the 4-hour time frame. This is what the trade looks like. It's still not too late to get into this trade. I'm basically looking for this high here to get swept. Let's make that red because that would be resistance. So I think there's a lot of liquidity over here. I think that a lot of people have been going short on the market at the moment. At least that's what High Block Capital suggests. A lot of players going short, you can see over here. And those shorts should get squeezed or stopped out. So I think we could see a short squeeze on Ethereum. So I have taken a bit of a long here. Basically what I'm looking at is I'm looking at a W bottom to form right now, some bullish divergence you can see, or the RSI going up there. This low here might get taken out. So my stop is just below, but something like this is what I'm looking for Ethereum. A little W pattern, breakout, grab the top side liquidity. That is very common. And it is very common to see, at least over the past few days or few weeks, that we do see that low in the stocks and crypto in the first part of the US trading session. So I think this could be that little low. Remember that this is, of course, your support zone over here. This is where previous buyers stepped into the market. And what we can do as well is, we got a high volume wick over here. So what you can do is you can take 50% of that wick right over here. So there's the wick, 50% of that wick, and that comes in at 1,800. So the ultimate trade or buy zone would be from current price all the way down to 1,800. Obviously, if you don't buy now or buy less now, then you obviously risk not getting that entry. But this is my trade idea. This would be the perfect setup. If you got fully filled, you would have an average position of about 1,825. And this gives you a risk reward of about 4 to 1, which is favorable. We like to take trades that have a risk reward of at least 3 to 1. So that is the trade setup for today. Let's see if it plays out. I do think if we get above this 1,966, I do think we'll shoot up very quickly and grab all that liquidity. But these W patterns do often play out. And yeah, let's see if that happens. So that is the trade idea for today. Let's wait and see. Obviously, Ethereum's looking very scary. It's looking, like I wouldn't say it's looking heavy, but it's definitely at support, guys. When in doubt, zoom out. We're going to have a look at the weekly timeframes in a bit. And when in doubt, zoom out. And I think Ethereum's at a great level at the moment. Ethereum hasn't really run too far. Can Ethereum, okay, so there's a few comments here. It's a comment over here. We're going to have a look at VET later. We'll have a look at VET later. But can Ethereum go below 1,500? Well, of course it can. Anything's possible. Everyone who had their longs in over here, who've had longs open for a while, they would have their stop loss over here. It seems like an obvious place for a stop loss. So, we could see Ethereum come below this level. That is why we don't like to trade with leverage on our spot portfolios. When people are talking about putting their net worth or, buying a lot of crypto, it's spot. So if it is spot, it doesn't matter if it goes to 1,500 because it is likely, in my opinion, to still come up and claim these highs this cycle. So will it go to 1,500? Well, it might. If it goes down to 1,500, you can sure bet that I will be buying some more Ethereum, as that is definitely a bargain price, guys. That is a massive support level over here. This whole green box, that's between 1,550 and 1,750. Massive buy zone. If we get a little wick below, sure, we can. I suppose we can come all the way down to the range low at 1,000, but let's not talk about that. Obviously our portfolios will be looking ugly, but at the end of the day, you'll have the same amount of Ethereum because we have bought spot, guys. We have bought spot. So Ethereum's obviously looking ugly. It isn't looking great. There is that daily. Let me get rid of this over here. That was the trade idea. I was on the wrong time frame over there. But if we draw our trend lines over here, we are kind of at support. If we correct it, it does look like we are breaking down. But this is definitely a weekly uptrend. So we'll need a weekly confirmation here, which we don't have, guys. We don't have. Ethereum could very quickly go up all the way there. But for now, a good place to be accumulating some Ethereum. If you have a look at Solana, Solana's also at support. This is a massive support zone over here. This 120 to 130 dollar region over there. And this is a massive support, guys. We can go all the way back here and we can see this was resistance. We broke through, had a breakout, and then when we had the little start of the bull run, that was the first place where we stopped. Obviously, this was tested as support multiple times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So this is a support. Will this get swept? This might get swept because this is a very obvious place to put stop losses. So this 110 region can definitely be swept. If we do lose that level, then this is looking like the next obvious zone for Solana. So if you guys don't have enough Solana and you guys do have dry powder, this would be your zone. Around $80, that would be the bargain zone. That would be a quick wick, in my opinion. And then off we go. I personally don't think that the cycle is over yet. I still think there is a lot of legs to the upside. If you look at previous cycles, if you look at Bitcoin dominance is at a high. And we know that cycles do not end when Bitcoin dominance is at a high. It normally ends when it has a low. So that tells me that there is a move to the upside. A lot of people are choking up their cryptos and choking up their trades and their long positions now, and ultimately handing it over to the bigger players. But that's what happens in crypto cycles, guys. Let's talk about XRP, because XRP is actually holding up incredibly well over here, still above the 200-day EMA, and this is looking like probably one of the best cryptos at the moment, and ultimately, in the decent buy zone, coming very close to that 200-day EMA over here. So I think, can we come into that? And it's very interesting that it is holding up above that 3rd of Feb low, of course, guys. So this is the daily time frame on the cryptos. I'm going to go into some of the stock markets and the Tradfi, because it's also very interesting. So this was kind of my idea for the DXY. I was waiting for bearish divergence in a deviation and then to come back into the range. I personally thought that this would provide a tailwind for risk on assets. And that hasn't been the case. It hasn't been the case at all. It's obviously only helped the other pairs against the US dollar, like the Euro USD, Pound USD, and whatnot. But I think we could see another push up on DXY to 105. Basically, this was the range high. This is the range low. We deviated above the range high. This was the Trump rally, the Trump pump for the dollar, of course. And then, we did come back into the range, tested it as resistance over here, and we have rolled over since. And the ultimate target for the DXY is going to be the range low right over here. Okay, so the range low is over there. We can extend this all the way down here. And our target for the dollar is to go to 100, guys. 100 points, of course. This should technically provide a tailwind for risk on assets, but we'll have to see. The markets haven't been quite as correlated as they were before, but let's wait and see. I do see a little push up here, retest the 50% level as resistance, and then roll over. So something like this, very possible in my opinion for the dollar, of course, and we'll have to wait and see how everything else reacts to that. But that's what's happening with the DXY at the moment. If we have a look at the stock market, let's have a look at the S&P 500, because the S&P 500 is looking very interesting. So I actually zoomed out today. We have lost that level of 5,700. And that is a significant level. So I'm expecting a potential range to form here. But I remember that in April 2024, this was a major low. This was all the panic and the fear with the geopolitical conflicts in the Middle East, right? So, and there was a lot of panic in the markets here. This is the next recession. This is the next this is the next that. So when you get a lot of panic in the markets and it does form a low, that's a very significant low, guys. So what I've done is I've drawn out from that low period to the all-time high over here. And the 50% level of that comes in at 2,552, which we are currently at finding support at right now. Okay, so if we have a look at that, here is the significant low. Here is the all-time high. I'm just going to draw an arrow there to show you guys simply right over there. So here's the low, here's the high. That 50% comes in right over here at 2,552. And that is where we are currently finding support. Surprise, surprise, guys. So this may be the great entry for the S&P 500. If you are an S&P 500 bull and you have been struggling to find the perfect entry, this could be the perfect entry. This could be the perfect entry for the S&P 500. Could we come a bit lower? Of course we can. But if we start to close underneath this level and lose this level and close weekly candles consistently below that level, the next target that I am looking for the S&P 500 is this 5,130 points, okay? I think this would be a great test of support over here. If we come down, if we lose this level at the moment, I think we could come down there, and that would look quite ugly for the S&P 500, of course. And, remember that we're only in a bear market if the S&P 500 drops below 20%. Okay, that means we are in a bear market, and that level would be, let's call it 5,000. So as long as the S&P 500 holds 5,000 points, we're still in a bull market, and you do expect assets to move onwards and upwards, of course, guys. Crypto would follow suit. So that is my technical analysis on the S&P 500. I would like to see either this level hold. If this level doesn't hold and we start to see closes below here, then I am looking at 5,100 to be that low for the S&P 500. And if you have a look at the NASDAQ, I don't often look too hard at the NASDAQ just because it's very similar to the S&P 500. But again, that major 50% level coming in at 18,000, we don't really want to see price below that 18,200. Even this low over here, right? That was the August, that was the yen cash and carry trade. I don't think we want to see price underneath that. But if it happens, it is recoverable, of course, guys, of course. So look at gold quickly, because gold is just continuing onwards and upwards. We've had this parabolic, parabolic line for gold for a long time now, and it is just following suit. It is doing well, it is pumping, and you would expect this to just continue onwards and upwards because there's a lot of confusion in the markets, there's a lot of uncertainty, and gold is the asset that normally runs the hardest when there is uncertainty. You look at the stock markets and the dollar and everything else, and the question you ask yourself is, where do you put your money? Where do you put your money? You know that you can't hold it in dollars because you're losing to inflation. It's scary to put it into the S&P 500 because, if it loses those key levels, it could be looking ugly. So the place to put it at the moment is gold when there is a lot of uncertainty, of course, guys, of course. But right now, I want to go on to the weekly time frame for Bitcoin. This was the level that I was looking for a bounce. So as soon as we came below that massive support over here, I was looking at this 50-day EMA, 50-week EMA to potentially get a touch. We haven't touched it in a while. And you can see that we normally do flirt with it here and there during a bull run. So you can see over here, we touched it and we got a nice bounce. If we lose this level, it will start to look a little bit ugly. So what I can picture is, some period like this or like this, where we're just getting a strong bounce off the 50-week EMA. So what I'm waiting for now for Bitcoin would be a MACD white tile, okay? So of course, when you are in a downtrend, you do flip. So this has been changing the trends, and this has actually been nailing the highs and the lows for Bitcoin and crypto. So you can see over here, when the tile changed white, we did change trend over here, and this was the level or the candle. So we could have, got out around there. And then what you're going to be waiting for is for a white tile to print after this red candle, and that would tell us that with pretty high confidence that the low could be in. And this is a very important level for Bitcoin to hold. It looks extremely obvious, guys. There's a lot of panic in the market. People are freaking out. People have lost a lot of money. People who looked at their portfolio 2 or 3 months ago and looked at the value, and they're looking at it now and they're starting to freak out. But what you got to ask yourself is, unemotionally, is, are we at a high or a low? Well, the obvious answer, in my opinion, is that we are at a low. Okay, this is massive support. If we link the November 21 top to the March top of last year and extend the trend line out, that trend line comes in over here at that 76K region. And that also lines up nicely with the 50-week EMA. So this is looking like a great zone over here to accumulate Bitcoin. And whether you accumulated at 76K or 82K, it doesn't make much of a difference at the end of the day. So I think this level here, great level. If you bought on the EMA touch in August last year, it would have been a great buy. If you bought on the EMA touch in September last year, it would have been a great buy. So I think an EMA touch is a great chance, a great opportunity to get into Bitcoin and the crypto market. What we don't want to see is for a resistance retest. So if we lose this level and then start to flip this as resistance, then it can definitely start to look ugly. But for now, we have to treat our key levels and support as support, and Bitcoin is clearly at support over here. So this was the previous support, and this is the next support if we lost that level, of course. And if you are looking, if you want to offload your portfolios or something like that, then what you're going to be doing is on this next retest over here, if Bitcoin is going to test this as resistance and not break through, then you're going to be offloading some of your chips over there, expecting a further move to the downside. But it doesn't line up. I think there's a massive year ahead still. I still think we could get a sideways grind period. And then, towards the end of the year, Q4 2025, Q1 2026, I think that is when we most likely see a top. That makes the most sense. And, looking at previous cycles, that is what lines up the best, of course. And if we look at Ethereum, Ethereum is clearly at support over here. If we do zoom out on the weekly time frame, it does look quite ugly because we have lost this upsloping support over there. Of course, we are below the 50-week EMA, but Bitcoin is king at the end of the day. So we have to analyze Bitcoin and look at Bitcoin before making a decision on other cryptos. So obviously horizontal supports act more important than inclining or declining supports and resistance. And you can see here that we are at support. If we do lose this level, then we are going to be looking out for this next level over here. And that will be at about that 1,350. But guys, there's a lot of fear at the market at the moment. And we know that when there's a lot of fear and panic, it's normally a great time to buy. Ethereum under $2,000, guys. When Ethereum was at $4,000, we all wish that we could buy it again at $2,000. And right now it's at $2,000. So if you do have, if you are looking to get exposure into the markets, this is a great time to be buying, guys. It's a great time to be buying. Solana, same boat. We did discuss that to length earlier, of course. So this is the weekly time frame. Let's have a look at some of the, so we did take that ETH trade. This was our ETH trade that we did take. We got in around this level over here. And we are up a bit. We did take this trade on a bit of leverage. Already up 1% times leverage. So we are up a little bit on that. Guys, remember that the TP for this trade is going to be 2,160. And yeah, we are going to take the majority of that trade off the table. So what we're going to do is we're going to wait. If we do get a significant breakout, then it could be looking quite good. Then our trade could be in. So we're going to wait and see, because this could be a massive setup, guys. If this is the low, which it might be the low, guys. No one's saying this is the low. No one's calling for the low. People are starting to stop to say buy the dip, buy the dip. So this is normally when a bottom or a low is formed. And if we do break out, I'm expecting this to be resistance. But what we could see is a massive push up. If we get rejected a bit, come down, flip this level over here into support. Then if we break through there, get above here, then test this as support, then I think we can be off to the races. And this could be a little bottom in play here, guys. This could be a little bottom in play here. And I personally think that crypto at the moment is extremely oversold, and it is at a massive bargain region. I'm going to cover some tokens that I believe are in a massive buy zone, guys. So at first, I'm going to go with Ondo. Okay, I'm very bullish on Ondo. I do own a lot of this, and I think this is a great time to accumulate. So I did accumulate the majority of my Ondo in the zone over here, so I'm probably at about break even or slightly in profit on this trade. And what you got to do is you got to zoom out and you got to ask yourself, are you at support? Okay, well, there's this upsloping support over here, which we did tag and get a bounce off, so we could be at support. That we can tick one box here. I'm still in this leverage long, which hasn't been stopped out yet. And this level over here was a massive accumulation zone, in my opinion, guys. Low volume, big accumulation zone. And this is a level that we'd like to see being flipped as support. So this is a massive buy zone for Ondo. If I had to choose one crypto and go all in, I would choose Ondo, guys. I would choose this. Good token. Let's get rid of this. Let's neaten this up, of course, and let's take it one step at a time over there. So what you'd want to see is, it's definitely worth implementing a dollar cost average strategy over here. So what you can say is, well, how long are the accumulation zones for Ondo? Well, this one was 3 months. So what you could do is you could just accumulate Ondo for 3 months, and then we're going to see, are we going to break out of the zone or not? So what you could see for Ondo is, we could come down, and at worst, what you're going to see is, we could see a bearish retest of this before going down, and that's when you can exit your position. But once we do start to break out, remember, guys, crypto goes very fast. It doesn't give you an opportunity to get in. So I would say something like this, Ondo. Obviously, no financial advice, but this is a token that I would be accumulating in this region, guys. dollar cost average at least. The rest are looking quite scary. I would, I do have a little bit of a list, guys. Sui's looking good. We are below the 50% level and the important levels, but at the end of the day, this is a good zone. So you can see the zone over here. This was resistance. It's now being flipped into support. So this is another great project. It is at support right now. So Sui and Ondo are looking good in my opinion. Let's have a look at Tau. I know my Tau trade gets stopped out. Again, we are at support here. So here is previous support, and we are in that zone now. And obviously, guys, you're just buying these tokens, and then you're just letting them do their thing, guys. We are forgetting about them. This is in an uptrend, guys. So you can see we're making higher highs and higher lows. We obviously are at the range lows at the moment. Not a bad time to be getting into some ENS, of course. Chainlink also holding up quite well. We haven't taken out this low over here, which is significant, and we are in an uptrend, guys. This is a clear uptrend. Okay, higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low, so on and so forth. So we are expecting the next move to be to the upside, and if we come and just test this top over here, and come up there and then roll over, that would be our sign to be getting out, guys. I think this next, what I think is going to happen, just from a psychological point of view, is that a lot of people at the moment are obviously, they're upset. They're upset they didn't take profits. And what they're going to do is, as soon as they break even, as soon as there's another crypto pump, let's say altcoins pump another, 50 to 100%, they're all going to be offloading their crypto bags. They're all going to be selling. And what we're going to see from there, most likely, is for the crypto market just to not stop. It's just going to go all the way. As soon as retail sell all their positions, this is probably just going to go all the way, and they're most likely just going to go buy it back again, guys. Aave looking good. Aave is at massive support over here, huge level for Aave. I would personally be getting into something like Aave. I think I'm gonna go onto CoinW now, and I'm just gonna start opening low leverage longs, guys. I'm gonna open one for Aave, for Sui, of course, and we are gonna try find some other ones. How is so this was a previous trade which obviously did not work out. But this is also at support, guys. It's at big support right now. Who knew we were going to come this low? So there we go, massive support. You can see support, and we connect the dots, and you find that the zone is also support over here. So I think it's definitely worth dollar cost averaging into your favorite projects. I think Uniswap's looking good. I think Sui's looking good. I think Aave's looking good, and I think Ondo's looking good. And I think the blue chips, I think Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Solana, they're all looking good. I think right now is a good time to be getting into those positions, guys. Phantom or Sonic looking good. Of course, this was moved into break even, and this is most likely to be filled, guys. Don't forget this. Phantom or Sonic fair value gap all the way up there. This is pumped 10% today, and I think there's a 180% move for Phantom all the way to this fair value gap. If we just go to the lower half of that fair value gap, or the lower region, that's 150% move. And I think it's very possible, guys. I think right now is the time to be watching. Right now is the time to be watching for the strong coins. You must be on strong coin alert, strong token alert. The tokens that are pumping right now are the ones that are most likely going to outperform the rest of the cycle, guys. Okay, what's happening with our ETH trade? Okay, so 4 hour close, the close bullish, but guys, remember that this is support, of course, and the ultimate setup over here is between 1,850 to 1,800. That is the ultimate buy setup. That is the 50% wick retest which we spoke about, and then I am targeting this candle's highs to be taken, guys. I'm looking for a short squeeze. Obviously, the CPI data came out today, and the data came out bullish, guys. This is bullish or bearish for currency. It's red. It's less than expectations, and it's crazy to see cryptos have a little pump up and then sell off. It is pretty crazy, but this is expected. I think a lot of people are starting to lose a lot of hope now, and a lot of people are selling, guys. A lot of people are selling. A lot of panic. But remember, guys, if you give anything time, there's no reason to panic. Also, you've got PPI out tomorrow and nothing happening on Friday. If you have a look at the data, lots of liquidations. The 24-hour long to short ratio is at 50-50, so no major move. And let's have a look at the liquidations. It's been major liquidations over the past few hours. This is the most amount of longs liquidated that I've seen. Look at this. So much liquidation over here, guys. Crazy to see these stats. Just billions of dollars, billions and billions and billions of dollars, guys. So this data doesn't suggest much. It does suggest that, you know, longs to shorts are at a fair ratio. But a lot of liquidity does sit on the upside. So if we have a look at Bitcoin on the 7-day look back on the 5-minute time frame, there's a lot of liquidity. This liquidity got tagged, and there's more liquidity at 85K. So I'm looking at 85K as a level. That is where, you know, if I do see crypto and Bitcoin get a little pump, that 85K region is where I could be looking to take profits from my Ethereum trade. There's more liquidity at 88K, and there's a lot of liquidity around 100K, guys. 100K, look at this big beam of liquidity. This normally gets tagged at some point. So you can expect Bitcoin to go back to 100K and grab the liquidity. Ethereum, where's the liquidity? Well, there's a little bit of liquidity underneath price over there, but 2,300, a lot of liquidity at 2,600 and $3,000, guys. Expect a move up there at some point, guys. Remember, the markets follow liquidity, and if the liquidity is stacked to the upside, you do expect that to be tagged. Most players are positioned short. The deltas are red, liquidity to the upside, and it's you know, it's looking like the perfect storm. Solana, massive liquidity at 121. If you're looking to get into a Solana long, I think a big leverage long for Solana at 121 is definitely on the cards. So it's starting to get a little bit of a move up, of course. You know, we are in this trade, probably up a 20% now, something like that. I'm looking for at least the zone to get tagged, guys. A lot of liquidity over here. I'm gonna make this yellow because it's liquidity. A lot of liquidity over here, and very likely to get tagged, of course, guys. So if you have a look at the low time frame, there we go. There's a bit of liquidity at 1,850, of course, and then this is the zone over here that's probably going to build with a lot of liquidity, just below $2,000. And that is literally where that is, guys. You can expect a lot of liquidity to build up here. So, I mean, what you can do is you can get this trade up here. I've already taken, I'm not sure if you guys took the trade. And then, you know, if we do see a push up and then a liquidity sweep and then a 4-hour close, you know, we can close our trade, and then we can open up a short over here, you know, tight stop loss below this level over here. And then we see what happens with price, of course, guys. Okay, guys, but I think I am going to end the stream there. It's been a good one, good little market wrap. Let's wait and see what happens in the New York session. I've obviously moved my streams to the New York session. That is where most of the action is happening, guys. A lot of action recently in the New York sessions. But for now, guys, definitely dollar cost average. I'd be dollar cost averaging into those tokens that I mentioned earlier, those Ondos, those Suis, those Aves, the ones that are looking good on the zoomed out time frame. But for now, guys, happy trading. Good luck out there, and we'll see you guys on Friday.